appreciate you coming today. I'm going to take a few minutes and just talk about this incident that's ongoing. You know, for Colorado Parks and Wildlife and all of us involved, our main primary concern still remains the family and the child. You know, our thoughts and prayers go out with them. And as we understand, currently the child is in fair condition and expected to have a full recovery. So they also continue to ask for some anonymity, and we're still obliged to do that for the family at this point in time. I also want to take a minute and just thank all the officers that were involved, not just wildlife officers, but Mesa County Sheriff's Department deputies, also the fine work at Mesa at St. Mary's Hospital here. But I got to mention the fact that, you know, this is a horrific incident, and truly the hero here is the mother, I think, in my opinion. You know, before the sun rose on the morning of Mother's Day, she truly exemplified the love and courage of what it takes to be a mother, and because of those actions, her child is here today. So, you know, our hearts go out to all of them involved. I want to talk for a minute about Colorado Parks and Wildlife. We are the state of Colorado's primary agency for managing wildlife. In the state, we manage somewhere around 17 to 20,000 bears in this state of 5.7 million people. These kind of incidents are rare, but they also do indeed occur, and we take them incredibly seriously. A full investigation was started just shortly after 2:30 in the morning on Sunday, and officers arrived on the scene. We did indeed confirm that there was a bear attack. Those have been confirmed through lacerations, different markings on the skin of the victim, also by track, scat, sign in the area, and identified bear in the area as well. I do want to point out that as of this morning, as of last night at 9 p.m., wildlife officers did lethally remove one male boar bear, probably about 2 years old. We do believe this likely is the bear that caused this incident. We will, however, wait for confirmation from DNA results and other testing, as well as a final investigation at the scene and other places. Again, it meets the description, and I think we're moving forward. And again, the ultimate goal here is to bring some closure to this family, and also step in and take care of our responsibility as a state wildlife agency. So, with that, you know, I wanted to keep that brief. I want to answer any questions. I'm sure that there's a lot of discussion out in the public. This was an opportunity for us to provide some transparency of what's going on, and also talk about how diligent we are taking this investigation. So, with that, any questions? Yes, sir.
Had there been any bear issues in this area that you were tracking before this incident where you thought we might have a problem bear on our hands?
We have commonly had bears in this area, albeit this is a desert environment, not necessarily the perfect environment to find bears, but they do reside in this area. We have previously had bear reports in that area, one approximately a half mile away, about a week prior to this incident.
What evidence is pointing to this being the bear that attacked the girl?
Well, right now all we can go off is just witness statements. This appeared to be the color, size, those kind of things of the bear. We've again lethally removed that bear. We've taken DNA samples both from the victim. The bear currently is being transported to our wildlife lab in Fort Collins, Colorado, where a full necropsy will be done to look at the overall health and look at diseases, anything else. We'll also extract DNA at that point in time. All the DNA goes to Wyoming, to the Wyoming Game and Fish Laboratory for full DNA analysis. So thanks to Wyoming Game and Fish for expediting some of that work for us. So, you know, I would hope that we hear back soon, but at this point in time, it may be a week, it may be shorter.
Does this say anything about the bear populations in Colorado for this year? The food? I mean, is there anything about the climate, anything that plays into why a bear would be moving in so close to this house in kind of an area they're not usually in?
Yeah, that's a good question. You know, we obviously have a very robust bear population in the state of Colorado. We're a conservation organization, which means it's the wise use of natural resources. We work to manage those. The primary tool that we use is hunting, and so through that management, we try and sustain a healthy, robust population. But we certainly have a lot, and we also have a lot of humans, and unfortunately, some of these incidents do occur. To forecast what the summer or this year may look like, we are braced for probably a difficult year, although it's really too premature to speculate that at this point in time. We have acorns and berry crops that are kind of flowering and beginning their production phases right now, so as long as we can sustain some moisture in the high country and do those kind of things, likely the problems or human interactions won't be as significant. But I can tell you, with respect to this bear, this likely is a bear that didn't come down from the mountains or forests or some of the really good bear habitat where we would expect a bear to live. Likely this bear came out of hibernation here in the Grand Valley, and is obviously looking for food sources here locally.
As more people move to Colorado and kind of into bear country, and there's more interactions, you spoke about hunting. That's a tool. Is that a tool? Could we see more hunting, or what can the state do to proactively sort of mitigate a lot of that?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think all of us that live in the state of Colorado ought to be somewhat bear aware and other wildlife aware. We kind of all have a responsibility to make sure our backyards look like a place that's not going to attract nuisance wildlife or have those kind of conflicts. At the end of the day, though, that really is the philosophical question at hand. How many bears can we tolerate biologically, but also socially and politically and otherwise? When we have bears residing in a desert environment like this, constantly feeding and looking for food sources in and around humans, those are extreme challenges that we face and that our officers face on a daily basis.
Can you provide any more information about how this child was able to get outside at 2:30 in the morning? That's what a lot of people are asking when they see the surface of this story is, how the heck did this happen?
Yeah, I can't. I don't have any of the details as far as what was going on inside the house or what caused the child to go outside or any of those things. As I said, we do know once that happened that the bear made a significantly aggressive maneuver and picked the child up, and thanks to the wherewithal and courage of that child's mother, she's likely going to be okay.
Can you tell us more about her efforts? Did she scream and yell? What caused the bear to drop this child?
That's still part of the ongoing investigation here as to what caused the bear to drop the child. We do know that, she was yelling and screaming, and the bear did drop the child, so she was able to get to her child and then get it back to the house. That's about as, broad and general statement as I can give you today.
What about the bear? What kind of condition killed this bear? Is it weight that a bear this age should be, or is there anything that gave any signs that that bear might be sick?
I'm gonna let the area wildlife manager Kirk Oldham answer that question. Sure. Thanks.
Kirk Oldham. The bear was about 125, 130 pound mature or 2-year-old male bear, and it seemed to be in fairly appropriate condition for this time of year. So again, that will be full necropsy on this bear, and its body condition will be assessed in Fort Collins later on this afternoon.
Is it safe to assume that this bear was shot?
Yes, this bear was shot.
Is there a link between the bear that attacked the young girl and the bear that attacked the 11 chickens that the guy living a mile and a half away from?
Is there a connection?
Yeah, is it the same bear?
That this all took place within a proximity to one another, and we're continuing to invest as part of what the comparison at the Wyoming lab and part of the comparison from our Fort Collins lab we're looking to compare is to compare whether or not this was the same animal.
If it's not I know you guys are real confident that it is the bear, but if it's not, then what? What's the next step?
Yeah, so again, we had one bear that was lethally removed. We're testing that, doing the DNA workup on it. And so currently, until those tests are concluded, we still have traps in the area. We still have hounds. We still are out there at all days, at all hours of the day, looking around for additional bears, any other tracks, signs, scat, any other issues that we may have. To speculate that there's only one bear in this area is fairly unlikely. So we're not going to rest until we know that we have the right bear, that we can go back to the family and inform them of that.
Would, if another bear was to be in the area, could that bear be killed as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I saw that this bear was found about a half mile from the location of the attack. Was it a concern that you guys return? Is this normal behavior for bears that do this?
Can you repeat that?
So was this a concern that the bear would return to the area of the attack? Is that normal behavior?
It can be normal. Yeah, when they start to find a food source, whether it be chickens or bird feeders or barbecue grills or pet food or those kind of things, even though they're scared off, challenged, spooked away, it is pretty normal for bears to just come routinely back into that area. I tell people that when they come out of hibernation and before they go into hibernation, they really are like walking stomachs. They're trying to take in huge amounts of calories. So, if they're finding food sources, they're not going to go far.
Just for your age, for everybody that's been involved in this, happened in the middle of the night, and I'm sure it was all hands on deck. What has this operation been like? Is it something that you trained for?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. And again, like I said, I want to thank all of the local wildlife officers and Kirk Oldham and everybody else. This is not why you join this agency. You don't join Colorado Parks and Wildlife to have to respond to these kind of things. The reality is it's part of wildlife management. It's part of what we do. We have significant and robust training to prepare our officers and everybody else to respond to these kind of incidents. It really is a crime scene the second it happens. Whether it's an attack or a fatality or anything else, we take it incredibly seriously. Again, all the evidence is secured, and all those investigations are done just as if it was a major criminal investigation.
Do you guys anticipate this kind of thing happening in the future, this summer, this year, anything like that?
I think anticipate is a hard word for us. Yeah, we do anticipate it. That's why we go through all the training and the other things. I think with the numbers of bears in this state, and with the people moving into this state and the visitors to this state too, we have a huge job in front of us. We have officers that spend easily 70 to 80% of their time doing nothing throughout the course of the year, other than dealing with bears and humans and managing those issues. So, we don't want it to happen. For sure. That's why we continue with our education outreach, and we work with landowners and the public to try and remove any of those kind of things that might bring a bear to your house. But again, in an environment like this, there's, the chances of this happening are pretty slim, and unfortunately it did early Sunday morning for us. I've got some number. We've had 3 fatalities in the state of Colorado, one in 1971, one in 1993, and the last was in 2006. In 2014, we had 2 attacks. 2015 we had 3. 2016 we had 0. Last year, unfortunately, we had 5, and this year already 1. So given again the potential for climate issues and food failures and some of the other things, we're always prepared for it. We ask the public to please call us, let us know if something is in your neighborhood, around your house, is acting aggressive, so that we can start to document that and track and educate and do some of those other things that we try and do to protect the public as well as the wildlife population.
Do you think any trash being left out or any food being left out just goes home was the reason for the bear coming nearby?
I can't answer that. There definitely was some food sources around and available in that area. It may have just been a meeting right there where it was just the worst case scenario. But again, I think if you look around, especially in Mesa County, at the majority of houses, you're going to find something, So at the end of the day, again, we have bears that we need to manage and people that we need to educate, and I take full responsibility on this. This is not an easy thing for us to digest. We have children too. We live here. We love the wildlife. But at the end of the day, humans have a role to play in this planet. and we take humanity more serious than wildlife.
Was the bear tagged at all? The bear that was killed today?
The bear was not tagged.
When was the last time a bear actually attacked a human here in the Grand?
I think 2006 was the last one I had. Was there something?
Grand Valley?
The last one in 2006 was actually up by Powderhorn, up by there was a camping incident up there.
But in here in the valley, it hasn't happened before?
Not to my recollection. We can look into some of the data and provide that later. Any other questions? I hope the next opportunity that we have for a press release or for anything else will be positive news that this is indeed the bear. We're going to continue to work closely with the family and the child and those folks and also the neighbors up there. And so I appreciate you guys coming here today. Thank you very much. Appreciate the community's support while we try and work through this as well. Appreciate it.
All right, everybody, again, good afternoon. Pilar Arias here with you. I'm going to get you kind of up to speed in regards to exactly what happened there in Colorado if you just tuned in or somehow didn't get the whole scope of everything that happened. I'm going to rehash some of the info that I have. A 5-year-old Colorado girl is expected to survive after she was attacked over the weekend by a bear, which was later killed by officers as it approached a trap. That's what officials are saying today. Colorado Parks and Wildlife said in a news release the girl went outside around 2:30 o'clock in the morning. 2:30 a.m. 2:30 o'clock? 2:30 in the morning. After hearing noises she mistook for her dog in the yard in East Orchard Mesa above the Colorado River corridor in Grand Junction, Colorado. The girl's mom then heard screaming and went outside to find a large black bear dragging her daughter. That's absolutely terrible. She told CPW officers the bear dropped the girl after she began screaming at the animal. What a rough way to spend Mother's Day weekend. This is a quote. She came out, she yelled at the animal. That's from CPW spokesman Mike Porras. She screamed at it, and by doing so, she probably saved her little girl's life, end quote. The girl was rushed to St. Mary's Medical Center in Grand Junction, where she underwent a surgery lasting an hour, 45 minutes, and required more than 70 stitches, dozens of stitches. She had no life-threatening injuries. That's according to pediatric surgeon Dr. Charles Bro of St. Mary's Medical Center. No injuries to her brain or chest organs or abdominal organs, and no fractures. Wow, talk about a miracle. The bear bit the girl multiple times on her backside, and doctors will monitor her to ensure she doesn't have rabies. Wildlife officers placed 3 traps in the area and observed the bear walking up to a residence a half-mile away from the attack. Officers killed the bear before it entered the trap. Based on the description of the bear and its behavior, wildlife officers are confident the dead animal is the same one involved in the attack on the girl. But of course, they just said they're waiting to find that out for sure. But completely shocking news, to say the least, surprising news. And you did hear one of the questions of the reporter in that news here asking, a lot of people are wondering, how did a 5-year-old girl get outside at 2:30 in the morning in order for this to even happen? But when you hear, children are very attached to their pets, and you hear that the little girl thought it could have been her dog in the backyard. And so, you can always try your best as a parent, but you just can't watch children every second of every day. But thank goodness that mother was able to get outside, able to shout at the bear, and the little girl is not just expected to survive, but to be okay. No serious consequences there. Wow.